Very good evening, dear friends. In today's session, we will deal with the rights of a customer under the Consumer Protection Act 1986 relating to banking operations. Here, the discussion is restricted to the rights of the consumers or the customers under the Consumer Protection Act only. Friends, the Consumer Protection Act is a welfare legislation, as you know, incorporated in the year 1986. And it, in fact, facilitates several rights to the consumer of goods and services. And here, the customers of banking operations happen to be the consumers of services. Under Clause O to subsection 1 of Section 2 of the Consumer Protection Act, stipulate that the services include banking services also. So, a customer of a bank is a consumer for the purpose of the Consumer Protection Act. Then, subclause 2 to clause D to subsection 1 of section 2 of the Consumer Protection Act further authenticates this particular aspect. Then the customer of a banker can charge the banker for deficiency of service in the event the banker's acts and omissions result in causing any damage to him in any consumer forum. And in fact, the unjustified disclosure which we have discussed earlier also comes under this particular category, and the consumer forums can be in fact approached by the affected persons thereon. Further, the meaning of deficiency has to be examined at this juncture, which was enumerated under clause G to subsection 1 of section 2 of the Consumer Protection Act, where the definition says that deficiency means any fault, imperfection, shortcoming, or inadequacy in the quality, nature, and manner of performance, which is required to be maintained by or under any law for the time being enforced, or has been undertaken to be performed by a person in pursuance of a contract or otherwise in relation to any service. Here, I bring to your notice the great saying of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, that customer is viewed as most important person, and every bank in fact depicts it at the entrance, saying that we are not doing any favor to our customer by giving our services, but the customer is giving us a favor by utilizing our services. So, I think that itself tells about the duties of a banker and the rights of a customer. Then, the deficiency of services which are in fact alleged, or in fact claimed for compensation against a banker, in fact are multidimensional, and then based on various decisions of the consumer fora and the state commission, national commission, and the Supreme Court, the various issues pertaining to this deficiency of service over which the consumers, the customers of banks have got rights, have been narrated now. So they have been consolidated here. Number 1, negligence in payment and collection of checks, and failure in repaying deposits, delay in repaying deposits, wrongful dishonor of checks, and then, in fact, unjust disclosure of information of the customers, wrongful refusal to grant loans, charging high rates of interest, non-refund of documents or losing of documents in the custody of the banker, wrongful exercise of right of lien, and then wrongful dishonor of bank guarantees, loss of articles, lack of security in bank's premises, wrongful stoppage of operation of bank accounts, charging exorbitant service charges, wrongful closure of the customer's accounts, violation of RBI government instructions, guidelines, orders, vicarious liability for the acts and omissions of the bank staff, rude behavior of bank staff. In the same way, unjust disclosure of information is most important aspect. Then the auction of pledged articles without notice, and then or improper notice also. So the customers can approach the district forum, the state commission, or the national commission, and finally the Supreme Court for the resolution of their dispute. Some of the disputes can be resolved by moving the High Court under Article 226 of the Constitution of India or Article 32 to the Supreme Court directly under the Constitution of India. With this background, friends, you can go through other provisions pertaining to the various issues on the rights of the customers, especially related to the Consumer Protection Act. Prima facie, the customers have got rights pertaining to withdrawal of their money, security of their articles kept in safe deposit lockers, security at the premises, and with regard to granting of loans equitably, and then with regard to honoring their checks when there is sufficient balance, courteous behavior. These are all the things normally expected of by the customers against a banker. And then any such violation ultimately would entail the appropriate legal action, and then appropriate reliefs can be granted by the consumer fora as well as the High Court and the Supreme Court. Normally, civil jurisdiction, civil courts would not be invoked under these circumstances, but basically, the consumer fora normally play a very pivotal role in protecting the interest of the customers of bank and then granting appropriate reliefs against the particular deficiency of service. So, friends, with this background, I request you to take appropriate steps and read further the Consumer Protection Act and then the Banking Regulation Act and then vastness, banking, tenants banking in this regard to further your knowledge. Thank you very much. Good day. Bye bye.